Good day. Let me begin this presentation with a quote from the Phelang Community Center Program Manager, Suella Helen Elizabeth. If there is no community ownership, one will not succeed. One needs to implement a community participatory approach. This statement is the very core of my presentation today, as I am going to present a case study on the importance of social mobilization through a participatory approach to development, authored by Kate Roper and Priscilla Mandivei, titled The Phelang Community Center, Facilitating Multisectoral Collaboration in Limpopo, South Africa. So a participatory approach to development work aims to involve and empower people and communities to control their lives and participate actively in addressing and responding to issues affecting them. So in this case study, Roper and Mandivei stressed on the role of multisectoral strategy to achieve societal learning and change through addressing large development issues. So the strategy requires collaboration among government, businesses, and civil society organizations. So a multi-sectoral strategy relies on a synergistic agent to negotiate and facilitate the engagement among the three sectors, to coordinate multi-sectoral production, organize and train the sectors in specific fields, build team spirit, and provide technical knowledge. So the synergistic agent could be found within any of the three sectors. The study took place in Phalaborwa, Limpopo, South Africa. It is a small town in the Mupani District Municipality in the Limpopo province, so it is also known as the town of two summers due to its climate. So the area itself is rich in minerals and therefore a prime location which hosts the world's largest open pit mine. The geophysical characteristic of Phalaborwa enabled the establishment of mining companies in the area. So three large mining companies joined together in establishing the Phalaborwa Foundation, which aims to address the needs of the disadvantaged communities in the Phalaborwa area. So the foundation was founded in 1986 as a civil society organization. So the purpose of which is to assist communities to become self-reliant through managing and implementing partnership programs. The Palabora Foundation identified the need for an HIV and AIDS program when a large number of miners migrated to the Limpopo province from Free State provinces to work in a new underground mine, leaving their families behind. So, statistics at the time indicated high levels of HIV infection and increasing numbers of miners and community members living with HIV. So the foundation acknowledged that the situation could escalate because of men living in single hostels in the township and liaising with commercial sex workers and the migratory nature of labor. So the foundation and the mining companies stressed assistance could be provided to the Department of Health in its community work, and that the services would also be accessible to the mining company. So, due to this growing concern in the Palaborwa community, the Palabora Foundation launched a community health and HIV center in 2001. It is named as the Phelang Community Center, also known as the Ba Palabora HIV and AIDS Support Group. So, the purpose of the Phelang Community Center or PCC is to implement effective HIV collaborative management approach to minimize the impact of HIV and AIDS in the community. So the PCC works towards achieving this by educating communities to change social behavior, increasing access to health services, and improving health practices. The center works towards the attainment of three main objectives. So first, to promote higher levels of awareness and access to HIV-related social services and treatment. Second, to provide education about prevention and support to communities on the following: HIV, TB and STI prevention, reproductive health and human rights. And third, to reduce stigma and discrimination against people infected and affected by HIV and AIDS through the provision of services that target the reduction of this stigma and discrimination, and the promotion of advocacy initiatives to respond to these issues when needed. So to understand and appreciate the power of the participatory approach in this undertaking, I will narrate activities conducted by the Philang Community Center in pursuing their HIV and AIDS program. So one of the initial steps taken by the center was a baseline study to identify organizations involved in the HIV and AIDS sector in Phalaborwa municipality and determine people's attitudes and perceptions about HIV and AIDS in all the villages in Phalaborwa. The Nelson Mandela Children's Fund funded the research, while the University of Limpopo Behavioral Science Unit conducted the research. So a number of organizations in the community were identified to assist in the data gathering. So this approach further provided an opportunity to build local capacity to conduct baseline studies. So while the baseline was being conducted, the program manager initiated consultative meetings with stakeholders whose involvement was viewed by the foundation and the manager as being critical to the ultimate success of the project. So these monthly consultative meetings conducted between and among the various stakeholders led to the finalization of the program's objectives enumerated a while ago. So the PCC continued to develop support groups, reaching out to communities through door-to-door campaigns and engaging people working in the mines and military in HIV-related work. So approximately 104 volunteers are involved in the program, and community support structures have been established in 16 municipal wards and on 20 farms. So the costs of the PCC are shared by the government and three large mining companies. So the provincial government was approached by a representative of the three mines with the support of the Maputha Malatji Hospital for a chief professional nurse to be seconded to the center as project manager. So the PCC is jointly funded by the Palabra Mining Company, Phosphor Limited, and Sasul Nitro as part of their corporate social investment program. So further support is provided by the Department of Health, the Department of Social Development, and the joint Oxfam HIV and AIDS program. And short-term support is provided by a range of funders such as the National Development Agency. Now, what are the takeaways that we can get from this multi-sectoral collaborative effort? So the authors Kate Roper and Priscilla Mandivei shared some key takeaways from the Philang Community Center experience. So first is to involve all sectors in the collaboration. So the PCC has successfully built a multi-sectoral community-based collaboration by involving as many sectors as much as possible. So partnerships with the private group have been built to gain support and participation in the collaborative process. So this requires continuous mobilization and identification of opportunities for the sharing of the resources and expertise to achieve the overall goal of the collaborative process. Also, the religious sector was not initially involved in their undertaking. However, pastors and ministers have been invited to preach on a monthly basis. Due to the interactions with people living with HIV, pastors and ministers have incorporated HIV and AIDS education into their sermons in the church. And it is also an important step in the collaborative process to acknowledge and include traditional health practitioners into the partnership as community members consult with them and make use of their medication. So this suggests the importance of including stakeholders who may be marginalized by the government or formal structures of development. So these partnerships further illustrates the burden of responding to HIV is shared between all organizations involved, and this has the added benefit of facilitating greater reach of intervention and services, especially in rural communities. Second, the continuous communication is needed to build mutual understanding and collaboration. So, multi-sectoral collaboration can be complicated and confusing, particularly when communication systems do not foster a common understanding or provide opportunities for individuals to share their knowledge, challenges, and success. So, through open communication channels based on trust, individuals and organizations can develop a common culture and develop meaningful relationships that facilitate effective interactions in practice. So third, establish and promote a common goal with clearly defined roles. So the identification of a common goal and clear roles in a collaborative approach creates opportunities for all sectors to become involved in a process. As demonstrated in this case study, all sectors can add value by helping the common vision become a reality. The common public purpose of the multisectoral um, approach is well articulated by the PCC. So all the partners are committed and participate in driving the collaboration forward to accomplish this purpose. So in closing, the Philang Community Center case study illustrates how the multi-sectoral collaborative approach in Phalaborwa has brought about changes in traditional societal relationships through finding and focusing innovative community responses to addressing HIV and AIDS. The successful change brought about engaged key partners who defined the changes required were part of the change process. So consequently, the foundation of long-term and sustainable relationships have been formed. So for an in-depth review of this case study, you may check the actual literature using this reference material. This has been Kian Arthur A. Pedroso. Thank you so much for listening to this report.